I don't know about you, but my journey on self-improvement has been pretty inconsistent. New ideas that seem exciting that I try for a week and then give up on. Philosophies that give me hope but then change. This constant search for something better, for someone to tell me how to live. So what if I ignored all that? Tried to come up with my own life philosophy for a change? I think a life philosophy needs to do a few things. I mean, at its core, it's a guide on how to live. A set of values and priorities that influence the decisions you make and the habits you form. A set of questions you can ask when you're at crossroads. Really, a life philosophy shapes your identity. Over the course of my life, I've had a lot of role models, either from books or films or TV, and each time I try and shape my life to in some way embody the things they represent. At their core though, I think the thing that attracts me to certain people is some kind of self-assuredness. Their lives just seem kind of simple. So that's the other thing. This philosophy needs to be a simple one. So that's where we have to start. What are the core values I want to embody in my life? The essential few. I think for me, those can be broken down into three things. Joy, discipline, and peace. My three guiding stars. To start off with joy, I think it's really simpler than you think, and in short, it comes down to our relationship with pleasure. Philosophers like Epicurus and Mill have pondered on pleasure for a while now, and I think the core take-home is that there are two kinds. Let's call them simple and complex. A complex pleasure is what we're most used to, I think. Pleasures that come from unnatural sources, things like social media, TV, junk food. I think the easiest way to define a complex pleasure is one that has some degree of compulsion. It leaves you wanting to come back for more. Compare that to a simple pleasure, things like reading a book, going on a long walk, eating good food. Those are great, but you couldn't really do them forever. They exist in a vacuum. They're not screaming for your attention or begging you to come back for more. So the obvious take-home is you need more simple pleasure in your life than complex. I think that's how you can achieve long-lasting joy. A good start, I'd say, is a kind of 80-20 rule. 80% of the pleasure you get should be from simplicity, and only then can you spend a bit of time indulging. I think that's at least a good start. Next comes discipline. There are some things we just need to do, either to survive, to feel healthy, or just so our life doesn't fall apart. I've written out a list of habits I've decided I need to do, but you should really try and do the same. For me, those are meditation, work, cold exposure, journaling, exercise, playing the guitar, reading, and an act of love. I find when I do those every day I feel the best, but sometimes I just don't want to do them. So what helps is what I call the minimum level of completion. That means the minimum thing I need to do every day to tick that habit off. Maybe it's just one push-up or one deep breath, one sentence in a journal. You get the kind of idea. That way, even on my worst days, I can still complete every habit and keep that momentum and discipline. I find with habits, it's not about doing them perfectly but inconsistently. It's about doing them at least to a minimal level every day. Then finally, there's peace. And sure, I can tell you just to meditate, but to be honest, it's about our relationship with our emotions in general. Ideally, we want to get to a place where our emotions don't touch us as much anymore. Now, a lot of that comes down to being organised and disciplined, but also there's a lot of work to be put in. So ask yourself, what are the things that most often alter that state of calm? Maybe it's arguments with your parents, intrusive thoughts, or stress about work. Well, you need to find the root of those problems. Ask yourself why you really feel the way you do, and if there's anything you can materially change to help with that. Now, without knowing the problem, I can't really give any specific advice, but there's a couple of books I can recommend. The Untethered Soul and A Guide to the Good Life are a good place to start. For me, those were the books that really helped me develop a long-lasting sense of calm. So that's what I've been thinking about recently, the ideas I've been trying to implement, and maybe they'll help you too. So manifest excellence. I'm proud of you. And if you want to chat, try your first week free in the School of Life, our self-improvement community, using the first link in the description.